Hello, dear friends. Let me welcome everyone watching Sotnik-TV today. It's April 1st, 2020, 8 p.m. sharp Moscow time. The further the pandemic expands, the more and more controversial details are beginning to appear throughout the information stream. More and more questions are being raised and different versions regarding the entire nature of that deadly virus. What situation led up to it breaking free? Was it really in Wuhan? Or may there be another initial point of origin? Especially since we see more and more indirect signs of its origin. Still, those signs are inconclusive, let me repeat that. During the following video, we need you to understand this is a pure speculation, so take it with a grain of salt. So please don't take this information as gospel. We're all too well acquainted with the nature of the current system we have inherited. It has all features of the Soviet Empire. It's a logical conclusion we must follow. Could this coronavirus be equivalent to Chernobyl? A new Chernobyl-scale catastrophe by Putin's negligence. The people in the USSR didn't wish for failure to happen, but there was a so-called accident. And then the authorities began to restrict the subsequent details and then labeled the incident top secret. They sent tens of thousands of men to graves. Those were the brave men known as fallout liquidators as well as ordinary citizens. They all died without knowing what the ultimate purpose of their sacrifice was for. The video coming up next is not even a version, but rather an illustration of a chain of established facts. This needs to be investigated in an official capacity, independently and impartially. Next, see this special episode on Sotnik-TV. On September 16, 2019, Interfax news agency uncovered the following post. A gas tank explosion was reported on one of the permits of Vector, the Virology and Biotechnology Science Center by the Federal Service for Consumer Protection in the Russian city of Novosibirsk. People were injured, reported by a reliable source on Monday, September 16. According to the source, the tank exploded during some renovation work on one of the center's laboratories facilities. One worker was hurt as a result, and according to the source, there were no biohazardous materials in the facility. That same day, Svoboda Radio added many more details to the story. An explosion occurred inside the Vector facility, a state virology research center located in the city of Novosibirsk. The center contains one of the world's largest collections of dangerous viruses. As reported by the Federal Service for Consumer Protection, the gas tank exploded on the 5th floor of the 6-story laboratory building while undergoing construction work. This was followed up by a fire that burned 30 square meters. The fire was extinguished and one person was injured. He was sent to the hospital because of his second and third degree burns. Those in the Federal Service for Consumer Protection point out that there were no biohazardous materials on the premise when the explosion occurred. Along with that, every window was broken in the building. What explosive power is required to break every window in this science center? The version is given about a minor gas tank pop. It isn't convincing at all. Next comes the official description of the center's goals. Any fundamental research on especially deadly and socially significant viruses pathogens, genetic variations, and the variety of virus pathogenesis. Research like this has led to the creation of modified viruses, and that was the true reason why the Vector Center was actually founded in 1974. The center's pretentious corporate movie, shot in 2004 in the town of Koltsovo, urgently describes the glorious ways of the old Soviet and the post-Soviet virologists, as well as their humanistic intentions. Yet mankind could be facing one of Vector's bugs nowadays. Perhaps it's one that just snuck out of the laboratory, and the first place it showed up was actually in Russia. Even the Federal First TV channel broadcast reported a mysterious epidemic outbreak that started back in fall 2019. They reported in a short segment on February 19th during a morning news show. An outbreak of pneumonia has been registered in another part of Russia. This time, those who were infected raised the number in the Orenburg region. Around 300 cases have been registered there weekly. 10 schools have already been locked down. Before that, a forced winter break was declared in the regions of Vladimir, Samara and Orenburg, as well as in the cities of Rostov-on-Don and Krasnoyarsk. Next, see Yulia Anishchenko and her advice on how to protect yourself from the disease. There are so many pneumonia cases, there are not even enough hospital beds for all the sick. The number of pneumonia cases grows all over the country. The city of Chelyabinsk is beginning to lock down its schools. This year we must consider the number from last year's infection rates and take this virus especially seriously. So when the infection level began to rise in our schools, we stopped all the classes. The number of patients in the hospitals of Rostov-on-Don also continues to grow. Pneumonia usually follows the flu or the common cold virus. The disease may represent itself asymptomatic. A patient only suffers from a minor illness and is not aware of the ongoing catastrophe inside their own bodies. A lung ventilation function stops functioning in that given area. Another important issue, the complete circulatory failure possibility. This may exacerbate the situation, thus making treatment less effective. One patient has been suffering from major pneumonia symptoms for 6 weeks now. He has been transferred here and was hooked up to a life support system. The situation is still full on every day. His pneumonia is very aggressive. Such a disease may last for months. With patients in such critical conditions, there is a big chance they won't make it. Still, such a scenario can be avoided once a physicist is informed on time. If you are familiar with the nature of Soviet man-made disasters, you know there is no room for coincidence like that. It really looks like we're dealing with a global man-made disaster. The explosion has put mankind at the forefront of a new technological challenge again. First, there was an explosion of the Chernobyl nuclear plant in 1986, and now there's an explosion of vector laboratory that was studying and developing deadly viruses. The track record of China doesn't look like a coincidence at all. The mass infection in Wuhan may as well be some special deep cover mission. As far as we know, the Wuhan laboratory worked closely with the Russians. More and more questions keep coming to light, but no answers at all. What does Russia have to do with the coronavirus strain? What is the true goal of Putin's military virologists sent to Italy? Do they need to collect some data important? Let's suppose they're Russian, they're like Chip and Dale rescue rangers. The rescue rangers wouldn't understand Putin's nature, would they? It looks like his main goal now is to make sure that some of his approved citizenries survive the pandemic and to divert any suspicion away from Russia's alleged involvement with a possible virus attack against mankind. And even if they start up an investigation and prove something, what will happen next? They sure won't bomb Russia with ballistic missiles, but rather accept once again that the post-Soviet Russia remains as toxic as ever. Anything may fly out of that wild territory of Iskander missiles all the way up to deadly viruses. The video you've just watched doesn't prove anything. It only draws a line of possible narratives. We're asking quite a logical question. Where did COVID-19 originate initially? And may this pandemic be caused by the technological disaster in the vector laboratory? Take care of yourselves, take care of your souls, take care of your health, and be sure to watch Sotnik-TV.